Hey guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and we're going to be a little serious today too. Today I got a story to share with you, and it's kind of a story that I think is important because it's a story about friendships in the reptile community. And if anything, guys, we got to stick together in this community, okay? We got to help each other out when the time comes, and we got to rise to the occasion for each other because we're all kind of in this minority hobby together. So, let me tell you one of my stories that happened to us in this hobby. And whenever I first started getting into snakes, I had these neighbors. Their names were, his name was Frog. Of course, his name really wasn't Frog. It was Jeremiah, so you can figure out where the frog came from. And everybody called him Frog. So that was how I knew him. And his wife, Jamie. You know, and they had a nice little family, a couple kids, and we're my neighbors, and we knew each other. We hung out together, and we were all friends. And I got into snakes, and Frog thought that was pretty cool. Jamie was terrified, but eventually she came around, and they decided to get a snake. So they got a snake. They were super excited. I remember when they got it, and they got this normal. They named him Willie, and they just thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then pretty soon they got another snake and a few more snakes, and I was getting snakes, and you know, we're making these breeding plans, and we're sharing rat orders together to save on shipping from like the big rat breeders and all of these things. I mean, this is way back in my beginning, before we had our rat breeding and everything else. And we were going to shows together, making plans together. You know, I remember talking to him, and one of the things he was really excited about was, you know, it became something him and his wife did together, which they didn't always have with a couple kids, you know. Like, that was what they did, and so now they had this hobby that he could share with the family, and the kids were involved, and him and his wife were involved together, and it's just made things better for him, and made things better for us as a friendship. We had things we had in common as friends, even more so now than like weekly poker nights. So it was this really great thing. Well, anyway, I ended up moving like 15 miles away to where you find Olympus now, and I get this phone call one day, and it was Jamie. And she called me, and she was upset, and she told me that Frog had been in a motorcycle accident on his way home from drill. He'd been at drill training. He was in the National Guard at the time, or reserve. I guess it was reserve. He'd been active duty before, so he was a veteran. And on the way back, we don't know what happened exactly, but he laid his motorcycle down, and he suffered a traumatic brain injury, even though he was wearing a helmet. This isn't an anti-motorcycle video. I don't want you thinking that. You know, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But with the injury, you know, he was life-flighted and everything else. So he lived, but he went through a lot of healing process. And even as we filmed this video, Frog is still healing. It's been amazing. And I don't know where you're at on the faith scale, and I'm not here to preach to you, but if anything, watching somebody heal as well as he has and continues to from something that he went through, it certainly helped strengthen mine. It was touch and go whether he'd live, like I say, but he did. And then he spent a long time not able to speak or really do anything because his brain was so injured. And I've recently talked to him on the phone not so long ago, which is awesome. They had to move to California for his treatment. And he's going to be under treatment for quite a while. And I still don't know how much Frog will really get to recover. If he'll get to recover fully, or if he's going to recover to a point where, you know, life can be pretty normal for him, which I hope. Talk about an amazing woman in Jamie, because she's been there. And you're talking, this was 2 years ago now. And she's been there, you know, through this whole process for that long, right by his side, and the different hospitals and different facilities. But one of the things that had happened when they had this accident, their first set of eggs were in the incubator when the accident happened. And they hatched not long after. Jamie came back to the house and found, I think, 2 of the eggs had pipped. And she called me and said, you know, I'm not even going to be home at all, because she just basically come home for a few things, was going, back to the hospital. I said, don't worry about it. We'll come get them. We'll put them in our incubator, and we'll let them finish here. No big deal. And you tell them what you want to do with them. So we hatched their snakes, and then she wanted them to be sold. So, because she didn't want to pick up any more than going on, because she was still coming back and taking care of her animals and everything else, and a couple dogs too, and again, 2 kids. And so we sold them all 4. Gave them all the money for that. We didn't want any cut of that. It's not ours. And and time goes on, and there are times like we're helping her take care of her animals because she's so busy, which is understandable. And then she came to realize that she just, with everything going on, she couldn't keep her animals. She couldn't maintain that collection and didn't have the time for them to do it properly. So she decided she was going to sell out of them. And one of the fears that I had with that, when I talked to her about it, I told her I would sell her snakes for her if she wanted to do that. And but I talked her into keeping 3. And I told her, I said, we'll keep them for you. All we need is, we didn't have the rack space at the time. I said, you got these racks. We'll need one of those racks, and we'll just keep them for you. And then if he heals up enough, and you guys ever want to get back into it, we'll just give you back the rack, and you've got 3 adults ready to go. So I'd recommend 1 male and 2 females, and you can get right back into it, because it may be something that he can still do as he heals. And if he had the opportunity to and wanted to, I wanted him to have that. And so she thought, yeah, let's do that. And these 3 snakes I have up here, these are those snakes. And we still got them, and that's fine. And we're still raising them up, and we'll probably breed them when they're up to size. They're not quite this year, it'll be next season beforehand. But if the day ever comes that she calls me and she wants these back, they're hers. And they're his. And that's what my point is when you have an opportunity to help a friend, especially a friend in this hobby, do it. Because this hobby already has enough people that are against it. And so if you can help that person out, you may need them to help you out someday too. So we've got to stick together. We've got to help each other. And I know they'd have done it for me in a heartbeat. They helped me when I needed it several times. Obviously it wasn't on the same scale as what he went through, but you got to be there for your friends and your reptile people. So let me show you these snakes. We've got 3 of them. Actually, there's 4 of them in there.
Yep.
There's 4 of them. We did keep 4 of them. I forgot about that. So I'll have to grab that 4th one. Because one of these they did sell. So they kept 3. Holy crap, they kept 3 and I grabbed the wrong 3. This is one they kept. This is a super pastel spot nose. And they kept this female. And I talked them to keep this because it's a super. I'm like, supers are always a great thing to have. It gets you making morphs right away. So this is one I recommended that they keep. And they did. So we've got that one there. I don't think we've ever named her. We've never really named these. And the reason we haven't is we still don't think of them as ours. Because they're not really ours. They're still Frog and Jamie's. And I should probably give them a name just because they're here, but they're not ours. Now this one actually is ours. This is one that was there. It's another super pastel spot nose. This is a male, but this is one that we actually purchased from them. When they asked us to sell them, we thought, we like that one. We'll just buy that one from you. And Jamie's like, well, you can just have it for selling the rest of them. We said, absolutely not. We'll pay you for it. Kurt wanted it, so Kurt paid her for it. But this is, and he named this one Titus, but he always calls it Titius because he thinks it's funny. And sorry, it's our sense of humor. So this was theirs, but we actually did purchase this male. And then one thing that I thought was amazing was when she was deciding what snake she wanted to keep. She wanted to keep this one. And this one warmed my heart because this is one they actually purchased for me because Jamie always loved my male bumblebee. That was the snake that got her over the hump, so to speak, of being afraid of him. So she wanted, and I wouldn't sell him because I love my male bumblebee. But this is one of his offspring. She really wanted that, so she bought this female bumblebee from me. And this is one she elected to keep. So it's amazing that I felt really honored that one of my animals was one that she thought was worth keeping in the collection. So anyway, Jamie, if you watch these, you can see it's still doing good. Look how big that thing has gotten. It's amazing. And then, let me go get the other one. Stay in there, buddy. She also, for a male, she kept her husband's favorite. This was her husband's favorite snake. I do know this one's name. His name was Marcus, or Mark Anthony. Maybe I don't know. Remember? I think it was Mark. This Roman anyway, and it was a banana male. And I remember he got this banana male. He was calling me and come see the thing. He brought it by the house. We literally we shared yard. That's how close we were. And He was so excited about this snake. Bananas were just coming down. They just got reasonable when he got this thing, and he was so in love with it. So this was always his favorite one, and so she kept this one too. And so, Frog, if you do watch these, I want you to know, here's your banana. And he's doing just fine, bud. And the day comes that you're ready for him back, he's yours right here waiting for you. And I mean, the only thing I really want to say in closing is, like I say, when the day comes that you have that opportunity to help a fellow person in the hobby or a friend in the hobby, and you may be thinking, oh, I don't have time for this, or oh man, I don't really want to mess with this right now, or whatever you're thinking. But remember, there's going to be a day that's you. And I hope your day is never as severe as the one I've told you about. You know, I hope nobody else in the world has to go through that, but I know they will. Trust me, I know they will. My job takes me to accident scenes, so I know it's coming. But when you have that opportunity, make sure and help your people out. Kurt, you got any questions?
No.
All right, well, in closing, guys, thanks for watching. I promise I'm going to get back to a more lighthearted touch here real soon, quit with all this really serious stuff. But these are some videos that I thought was important. I wanted to tell this story. It's because I think it's an amazing story of perseverance by several people, will to live by Frog, and you know, I'm honored to hold on to these snakes for him for as long as it takes. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and see you next week. Hey guys, I know I already said this video is over, but you know, we film these things a little bit in advance. We usually film, and then you know, we may film like 4 or 5 of them in one day and kind of post them out. Otherwise, all Kurt and I would do is film. But a funny thing happened. You know, I made this video, and before I posted it, I called Jamie, which is the gentleman I talked about as his wife, and made sure that they were okay with us posting this video since it was about him, and they were. She said it would be great. And just like a day after filming, I got a text message. I looked at my phone, and I had to do a double take because it said Frog on it, which is the guy we've been talking about. And he has healed up enough now that he's able to remember who I am, remember who other people are. He's, you know, texting. He's fighting with his nursing staff and his teachers because he's, you know, they're having to reteach him a lot of things. But he's, you know, he's reading, he's comprehending, he's walking, he's talking to me, he's remembering old times, and it's nothing short of a miracle. And I just kind of thought it was really cool that right after we filmed the video, you know, if you hear me talking in the video, it's kind of almost pessimistic because I didn't know if I'd ever get my friend back. And now I find I'm getting my friend back. So it's really cool. And I just wanted to share that with you, that before we even posted this, this is what's happening in his life, and I think it's an amazing thing. So, you know, we're really excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this because it's just an industry story. Remember to help each other out when you can, and never lose faith because amazing things happen and miracles do happen. His injury was so bad they took a piece of his skull and they actually put it in his abdomen to keep it alive to allow the swelling to go down. That's how severe the injury was. And for him to come back from it has just been, it's mind-boggling. I should have known he'd have done it because he's so stubborn. He's too stubborn to stay hurt. But it's been wonderful. He's back giving me a hard time and everything else. So Frog, if you're watching this, man, we love you. And I'm so happy to hear from you and see you're doing good. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.